Hello, hi. So my name is Lifshitz Agmon. I'm a CTO and co-founder of TrailQuest. So I guess I was chosen to close that great developers philosopher session to talk about how what does it mean to be a CTO in an early stage startup, just because the organizers probably think that would be the last thing you would like to be in your software development career, and I have only half an hour to convince you otherwise. So I hope I'll make it. A couple of words about TrailQuest. We are an instant messaging and anonymous, targeted, fully moderated by the community platform, and we enable people that are not connected in any way connect using the big data that they contribute to us using this platform. Okay, so that's a couple of words, but we're here not to talk about TrailQuest. We're here about joining a startup, a roller coaster, as a CTO, and well, that's what I did 2 years ago, a little bit less than 2 years ago. So I didn't have time to think about insights and how I'm supposed to make my job. But a year and a half and like a month ago, I thought, okay, let's see what are you doing here? Like, how are you coping with stuff? Because in a startup, as a CTO, you are on a roller coaster and you experience the uncertainty, but you have to make sure that the machinery is shining and working all the time, and you have to you're responsible for the development team, so the development team has to be focused. And how do you do that? I hope I'll be able, you'll get the answer by the end of my session. So let's start with this picture. Okay, who knows where it's taken at? Yeah, okay, you're right. It was taken, I think, 3 weeks ago when we released a major feature at 11 p.m., I think, something like that. So it's closed. But in TrailQuest, we took the thing with the roller coaster one step forward. We actually moved our offices in front of Luna Park. So we have a daily reminder of our choices here, okay? The thing is, it's mostly, I wanted to make some research about, how CTOs handle their jobs and what does it mean to be a CTO. And I wanted, I Googled it. And unfortunately, I didn't find a lot of articles or sessions like this. And I was asking myself, why? So one of the reasons could be because, we're always busy to make this happen. We're busy, keeping the technology up, and like this product, it's supposed to be available 24/7 with high scalability. So I don't have time for writing articles, right? That could be one reason. But I think maybe the second reason would be we don't really like writing articles. We love building stuff. At least I love building stuff. So I thought, okay, I have here a good chance to actually take a look back at the last year and a half and take some insights and share it with you. Now, each insight here will be accompanied by an example, a real-life example, because in a startup world, there's a lot of general sentences like keep being positive, keep smiling, but you really want to see what's in the base of it, like what are you based on when having this insight. So almost every insight here has an example from TrailQuest. Okay, let's start. Okay, I chose this as the first item here. So I think actually the job of the CTO is to make sure that the company business strategy is fully aligned with the company technology strategy. A lot of high-level words. I love building stuff. I love technology. I was working in technology like 15, 17 years before joining TrailQuest. And I didn't know a lot about business world. But in companies, you usually are exposed to, some things. I mean, the CEO usually explains the roadmap and everything. As a CTO, almost all of the decisions you make are based on business roadmap of the company. Okay, and that's something that took me a while to realize. And what it basically means that except this coding stuff and the coding and the language that you learn and code and everything, you have to understand the business language. And if your company has certain metrics, like we have an app, and we have app metrics like DAUs and MAUs and daily active users, monthly active users, you have to understand what it means. And mostly to understand what is the business strategy of your company at each step. Okay, why is it that important? The thing is, as a CTO, you are responsible of development resources, and you are usually short of those resources, and you always have to make choice where is the best place right now to put these resources. It could be like, what technology should I develop in-house, and what technology should I reuse? Okay, this is one example for the decisions that I have to make. For instance, if we are proactive, and I love being proactive, I also love my team being proactive about suggestions, how technology can help our marketing team or something like that, I have to make sure the suggestions are totally aligned with my current business milestone. Okay, I really had to back up with an example. So TrailQuest is an instant messaging app. It's like WhatsApp, okay? It's not based on people that are on your contact list, but we have chats inside. So right from the beginning, we had to choose which instant messaging technology are we using. Or maybe we should develop our own, you take the XMPP protocol and code on top of it. So to make that decision, I had to realize what's my current company strategy. And at the beginning, that's very, very simple. The strategy is just run as fast as possible. You're bringing here a whole new product. You don't know how users will react, so you have to release as quickly as possible, okay? It's easy. So we just examined a couple of different instant messaging platforms and APIs, and we found a certain solution. It's called QuickBlocks, and it was really easy to implement. It was flexible enough. It was wide enough. It met all the requirements that we needed at that point of time. So we just integrated it within our product. Okay, and then that's the day of the release of your product. Like you work long hours for releasing it, and then no user actually comes, okay? So in the beginning, there were no users, there were no traction, and QuickBlocks were fine. Like it worked very, very well. A couple of months ago, we were lucky enough to bring a lot of traction, okay? Actually, we had a great product market fit for our product, and we started growing, okay? And then the strategy of the company, the business strategy changed, because now it's not only a quick launch, okay? We have to grow now. So every technology I choose should be supporting that growth. And at this point of time, QuickBlocks was not good enough. Okay, so we had to take one step back and to re-examine different solutions for the instant messaging platform. Another important thing was we connect people based on big data, okay? And there were a lot of content generated. Our users really loved our content, and they wanted to have an option to search that content. So the new solution should be able to support that search. Okay, so we're coming back, me and my team were coming back to examine all these technologies, and we chose another one. I gave the answer here, it's Firebase. And the main thing is, of course, it was very, very scalable. We're on Google, so it's scalable. It enabled quick growth. But the other very, very important part was that we wanted to use our database to store all the content. And a lot of other solutions like Intercom, they didn't allow me doing that. Okay, so they store all the data, and maybe you can sync. But I wanted to store it in my database and have a simple way of syncing data. 1 month, we had all the migration. We're now running with Firebase, okay, and it's working fine. Okay, so here I gave an example how company strategy, which can also change, by the way, and it changes a lot in startups. Startups are very, very dynamic. They can change, but me as a CTO, I have to make sure that the R&D strategy is totally aligned with the current milestone, the current business milestone. Okay, any questions? No, great. Okay, the second very important thing is team. And when I say team, usually people put like happy hours and stuff. I love beer, really. But I think in a startup with all the ups and downs, it takes a little more than those happy hours to to keep the team with you. So you see here a picture of it's actually only part of our team. We're really bad with pictures. I'm always looking for a good team picture, and that's the best I have here. You can see Itai, he's the CEO and co-founder of TrailQuest. He's my partner, and he's the visionary person in our company. He comes up with all these interesting features. This is me, and Dennis, he's our backend ninja. So why team is so important? There are a lot of ups and downs, and it's a roller coaster, so it's fun. But you have to make sure, and me as responsible for the development team, I have to make sure that the team is with me all the time. Okay, the team is focused and believes in our company. So what works for me is inspiration. Okay. You have to know what inspires each one of your team members. And, well, that's not a new thing, I guess. But what was new to me, that the notion that not everything that inspires me in the company inspires each one of my team members. So it's a process to understand what inspires each of the team members. And then when I build my R&D plan, remember from the previous slide, with aligned with business and everything, the inspiration of my team members is also a very important input to this plan. So a personal example, I promised examples, right? When Itai told me about his idea the first time about TrailQuest, I was totally inspired by the option to bring up a new product to the world that actually disrupts something so fundamental as human communications with people that we don't know. I mean, there's a real chance to disrupt that, to change that. And this is something that holds me within the company and holds me with all the energy that you see, because I really believe that there's a place in it in the world. It took me a while to understand that not all the team members feel inspired by that. And so I had to really learn what inspires each one of them. So one thing could be, having full responsibility for a certain product, okay? Having ownership, that's an inspiring thing. New technology, okay? Maybe learning new technology and carefully see where we can integrate it within our product. But all of these things are inputs for me when I build my, master plan. And I think that's a very important thing in a startup. I think, by the way, it's an important thing in every company. But in startup, it's a real challenge, and it's a real game changer. Okay. There is like this simple sentence, keep the focus. And it sounds so simple. But actually, it's very, very hard work. Because in social app, we're getting a lot of different inputs. We have thousands of users, and most of our, by the way, most of the users are based in Israel. And we have a lot of opinions, how things should work, how they not should work. And I'm exposed to all of these inputs. And I have, remember, my business milestones as input and other inputs. So it has to be digested somehow into a very focused R&D plan, okay? And I think that's a great challenge. I gave a small example. Our app is now available only for Android users. Okay, we decided to go with Android. And I think 2 or 3 months after the release, people were asking me, what about iPhone? Why don't you develop this app for iPhone? Because people like the idea of what's going on there. And I think like every week, me and my partner were discussing, okay, so are we now starting to develop an app for iOS? And every week we understood that this thing, although our users really love it and really want it, it won't, it won't help us with our next milestone. So we had to filter it out, okay? And there are a lot of, this kind of hard decisions. And it's mostly what we are not doing right now, because we want to make a lot of things. You always have to choose what's the right thing for the company right now. And the most important thing, you have to communicate to the team. Okay. Flexibility and can-do attitude as a value. So this is something that I personally believe in. In startup, I think it's a must. We're moving fast. We're learning things fast, and we have to be very flexible. And we have to, every feature that is considered to think how can we achieve it, how we can make it, and be flexible while suggesting our solutions. This is something that I pass on to my team daily. Okay. Okay, I think I'm good with the time. So, what do you see here on this picture? Puzzle, okay. Just puzzle. No, what you actually see here is the reason why I wake up each morning at 6 a.m. because my little 2 years old son really loves puzzles. So he grabs me each morning to the living room, and what we do, we make puzzles together. Okay, it's mostly he makes the puzzles, I just watch, but he really enjoys it. And the thing is, like, I was watching him. He is making this puzzle for, I don't know, 15 minutes, something like that. And then in less than 10 seconds, he just shuffles everything. And he enjoys it. Like, he enjoys the process of making it. And he also enjoys the process of shuffling it and making it again. One morning, I was trying to figure out a way to make lemonade out of this lemon. And I thought, wait a minute, that's exactly what you're doing in TrailQuest. You're building solution that you think that's the best for that certain point of time. And then if it works, great. If it doesn't work, you just leave it aside. Okay? And you find the next best solution for your app, but you have to enjoy both the process of building, but also be able to, say, okay, there are some things that didn't work. I just leave them alone, and I continue, okay? And I promised an example, so here goes an example. Heat map feature. When we just launched, it's the TrailQuest, it's social app. It's based on chats and content. And when content is very interesting. But at the beginning, you don't have any users, so you don't have a lot of content. It's not so interesting. So we had to come up with an idea of a feature that will leave the users within the app, even if there's so many content there, okay? So we thought, and Itai, he has these brilliant ideas, and he said, wait a minute, we have big data, we have like location data. Okay, so maybe our users will be interested to know on specific time what are the location of other users. And okay, we thought, okay, try to raise the other ideas. We didn't have any better ideas, so then, okay, no problem. Let's put a heat map feature on our trending screen, actually the first screen of our app. And we used Google Maps, heat map feature. It's great, it works well. We had to add some blurring logic there, of course, and we enhanced it a little bit. But after, I think, a couple of weeks of work, we released it. And in the beginning, it was a hit. Like, we were examining the analytics. Most of the time the users spent were on that heat map. It was really a hit. At least we thought it is. Okay, the thing is, another thing we saw in the analytics was that it was the screen where they just dropped out of the app. So where they're spending their, like, I don't know, 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes sometimes, they just drop out of the app. So okay, that's not such a good thing. And when you take a look at the UX of the app, you understand the reason. There is no continuity process from that heat map. You don't continue, don't create content from that. So it's great for a killer feature for the beginning, but once you have content and the users are actually now we understand what users love about our app is the content, because anonymity actually enables us to connect more openly. So once you have that, you don't need this heat map. So we just decided one day, just let's leave it alone and build something new with putting the content in front of our app. Okay, aside from that, quick iterations, always releasing something, but we had to find the balance between quick deliveries and quality product. Because when you have thousands of users that are using you daily, you can't release buggy versions. And know your critical features, and it also takes time to understand what are my critical features. They're always measured, and each release, we're tracking, measuring them, making sure that the critical features are working. Okay. Over-engineering. So I don't know how about you. I don't sleep much lately because, start them and then 6 a.m. my son, so I don't get to have those dreams. But when I was a software engineer, I actually was dreaming about building the programs and engineering and building that architecture, so I remember that. I know we always say we shouldn't be making over-engineering, but it always happens. So I would simplify that. I think a good CTO knows the areas where the product has to be simple, and there are other areas where it's better if the product won't be trivial, because, for example, it can give you some kind of competitive edge over competitors. So the thing is just you have to control the simplicity. You have to make sure that each new feature introduced should be simple if it's in the area of simplicity, and if it's not trivial, that's okay, but you have to make sure that you're able to make changes dynamically. And that's the first evil of over-engineering, when you want to add changes and it takes a lot of time. And that's not good for a startup. So what I suggest is sometimes just stop and make a simplification phase. And it happened to us. I think 4 or 5 months after the initial release, we realized that each change that each new feature that we add really takes a long time to introduce because of our data structure. So we just stopped, made that change, and that's something that's easy in startup, not always as easy in in bigger companies. Just change whatever is on your way from making this dynamic stuff, and go on, okay? So that's also something that I always do. I'm keeping the control over the simplicity and complexity of the product. All right, then. So I think we came to the summary phase. And I see, I'm not sure you were fully convinced that startups could be a fun thing here. But actually, it is, like, that's why it's called a roller coaster. It's pretty fun. In the summary phase, I really would change the order of the things. I think team is the most important thing, and it's the most important thing in my role. So I have to make sure that my team is inspired and focused and as happy as it's up to me. Another important thing, always be aligned with your company business strategy. Learn the business language, okay? Because you have to understand it, you have to keep the alignment. Constantly build and rebuild. And if you love this building, and I really love it, you'll enjoy it. And sometimes you have to leave stuff aside, but that's okay. You're bringing a whole new product to the world. It's okay that some parts are not working. Okay, be focused on the parts that are working and make them better. And the last thing would be control. No, sorry, not the last thing. The last thing would be keep your smile on. Before that, control your complexity. Control where are the areas of your product that are complex, and you still have a way of managing it and making changes, and where you have to be simple. And last thing would be just keep on smiling. That's very important. Thank you very much.